Hello everyone, Cliff Dubenois here. So today I'm going to do something a little bit different for episode 54. I'm actually going to read an article that I wrote in my newsletter a handful of years ago. I absolutely love this story, and I like to pull it out every now and then because it's very apropos to what it is that I'm working on and something that we can all listen to. So bear with me as I read this. I was so hungry, my hand looked like a hamburger. My blood sugar was dropping. Our adventurous crew of 7 had been riding around in this small van for about 2 hours, and at first it just started off as a tour of the countryside. Breakfast, which consisted of pastries and espressos, was just now a long-faded memory. Hunger gnawed at our sanity and our tempers flared. It's hard to imagine being in Italy and being hungry. I mean, in the United States, where nothing closes, it's easy to think about eating at any time. But in Tuscany, or Toscana, in the middle of the country, everything closes between 1 and 3 p.m. Now, for reasons I don't quite understand, my buddy, who was also our driver, took us up this small road up this mountain in search of food. Another hour passed by, and my stomach now thinks that my throat has been cut. The van turns this corner and we stop. We're at the top of this mountain. We're sitting in this ancient village. These stone houses completely surround us. But we stopped not because we wanted to, because the road just ended. And it's really even not a road. It's more like a cobblestone path. And it was probably carved by Giuseppe and his mule some 700 years ago. Everything is boarded up. Nothing is moving. The town looks deserted. So we got out of the van. The village population now standing at 7. And I see a sign on the side of this building, and it says Ristorante. Well, maybe we'll luck out. Maybe they'll be open. So back off the road, as I look down the driveway, I see this large white tent that's suspended over several tables. And at one table sits 2 men. Empty dishes are stacked between them. Cool, maybe this place is open. Buongiorno, I say with my ridiculously thick accent. Are you open? Buongiorno, replies one of the men as he stands up. He's in his mid-20s. He's got short brown hair, athletic. He's got a thin Italian accent that covers his English. We open for dinner, he says. My shoulders slump. Just our luck. The first restaurante we've seen in hours, and they're closed. I turn to the others who are walking up behind me. Their faces are filled with hope. Maybe we can get something to eat. But that's a hope that I have to now dash. How do I tell them that there's nothing here? That we have to go back to that crappy van for another hour down the mountainside? My belly button rubs against my backbone. No, the Italian man says. Come sit. And we tell him, oh no, it's not necessary. We don't want to bother you. You know, we're being Midwest polite. No, he insists. Please, sit here. Well, he leads us into the white tent. There's this long white table, big enough for 10 people to sit at. And we take our seats. I'd be happy with a grilled cheese sandwich, my friend Tony says. And even though it's a joke, it's a sting of truth. The man brings us several boards. Now, on these boards are layered all these cured meats, all these different types of cheeses. There's like small pickles on there, cornichon. And there's some sliced bread off to the side. And he pours us some vino. And then he vanishes back into the restaurant. Of course, we are starved. And we cobble together these sandwiches based off these meat, cheeses, and bread. We eat it. Oh my God, it tastes so good. My mouth is just drooling thinking about it. And silence falls over our table as we're eating the last of our quote-unquote sandwiches. And that vino was delicious. So the man reappears, and he actually has a dish of risotto. But he doesn't slop, plop, or drop the risotto on our plates. He lays the risotto on our plates. Sweet Moses. Then he taps a different bottle of vino. This goes good with the risotto, he says. Well, my risotto has vanished before it has a chance to even ooze around my plate. And I buy these small scraps of risotto on my plate, and I really don't want to waste it. And I start wondering if it's polite to lick plates in Italy. Nobody's watching. I don't think anybody will notice. The man returns, and he's cradling a silver pan as if it were a newborn baby. There's a proud look that's just beaming from his eyes and a slightly cocky smile. He lays the basil gnocchi on our plates. When he finished, he scrapes the remaining sauce onto our plates, getting every last drop. Then he's standing by me, and he scrapes a little bit more sauce on my plate, and he whispers, "You don't have to lick the plate. I bring you more bread." Who is this guy? He's obviously not some college kid dropout that was hired at some local TGI McFunsters. No, there's something about this guy that's different. So on his next trip to the table, we ask him, we're like, hey, the way you handle the food and you smile and the way you watch our reactions to the way we eat, are you a server here? No, he's the chef. He's the owner of this way out of the way restaurant, and at nights his father and his sister would help him out, but this was his restaurant, his food, his labor of love. And dish after dish, the parade just continued, and the sauces and fragrances danced on my tongue, leaving this warm, fuzzy feeling in their wake. If my eyes roll back in my head one more time, they're going to get permanently stuck there. And of course, with each new course, he brought out another bottle of vino, something specific to each region in Tuscany. And as sad as it is to say, though, all good things must come to an end. And our meal was over. We gave him a collection of thank you, but it just seemed like woefully inadequate to express our feelings to this chef. We pile into the van. We start our trek back to our villa in complete silence, taking in what had just happened. So I don't know what possessed me, but when we returned to the villa, I threw up my laptop and I started writing. I had to document this experience, these details, what we had just witnessed. Everything being made from scratch, the sauces, the pasta, all the intricate steps that had to be followed, and he followed them diligently to produce an absolutely superior meal. He could have cut corners. He could have left some ingredients out, maybe used some leftover pasta from the night before, give us a crappy bottle of vino, save the good stuff for his fellow Italians, give the Americans, the leftovers. But if he had started skipping steps, it would have cheapened the experience. It would have diminished the quality of our meal. And maybe we would have noticed, maybe we wouldn't have. We still would have been grateful. At least we got something to eat. We would have paid our bill and we would have left. But would we have remembered that meal? Would we have remembered that experience? So working with clients, it's easy to think about skipping steps, right? Save a little money here, cut a corner there, say to themselves, oh, it's not necessary that I do all this. But every time that you skip a step, it cheapens the experience. It diminishes the results. And it's easy just to deliver up a grilled cheese experience for somebody. But a superior result is achieved by following all of the steps. I want the 5-course experience. And I want my clients to experience the 5-course experience in the same way and the same passion that I witnessed when I was in Italy. And when it comes to shaping my business, there are plenty of great examples that I could turn to out there. So like Steve Jobs with Apple, or Jeff Bezos with Amazon, Blake Makowski with Tom's Shoes. These are all great companies that I truly admire. But when I look for inspiration, that's not who I turn to. I think back to that chef working away at that way out of the way restaurant in that tiny village on top of that lonely mountain in Italy, who opened his restaurant and his heart, allowing for 7 strangers to come in and made them feel like royalty. Thank you for listening. I'll see you tomorrow with another story.